Mariah Rigel, and you're tuned into The Mo Show, where I aspire to inspire your mind, body, and soul. And today, as you guys can see by the title, this is a well-awaited and requested video because I've gotten a lot of inquiries about the books I've been reading this year. So quarantine hasn't been all bad. One positive of having to be in quarantine during this pandemic was that I was able to fulfill one of the goals of my vision board. When I did a vision board back in December 2019 for this new year, I said I want to start reading more. I want to take the time to read more, and I want to read, well, I didn't say a book a month yet, but I just said I want to read more. So, you know, January hit, February hit, we were all still, the world was still the same. Then March hit, and then we kind of went into a quarantine. So then I was able to start reading a book a month, and that's what you see right here. I'm missing 2 books because I lent them out, but we'll talk about all the books still. So in March, I read Becoming. All right, this is a bookmark. In March, I read Becoming, and let me tell you a story about Becoming. This is by Michelle Obama, First Lady Michelle Obama, or former First Lady Michelle Obama. So I got this book probably 2 Christmases ago. I guess if we're thinking of this year, it'd be 3 Christmases ago. I started reading it a little bit, but I never got back around to it. You can see it took me 2 years to get back to this book. This book is like super, super thick. So I liked the book when I was reading it. I just felt like I wasn't making progress in it. So finally, I was like, okay, I'm going to start reading now. I don't have any excuse. Like, I literally have the time. So I started reading Becoming in March, and I finished it. Well, I was already like, not halfway, but if you can see, I had started reading it a little bit. So I had a little bit under my belt, but really not much. So I started reading this in March, finished it by the end of March. So then I said, I can read a book a month. So then I started picking up more books and more books. And some of these books I already had, some I just got excited to read as well. So Becoming was an amazing, amazing book. And I learned a lot more about the President Barack Obama and the first family from reading this book. You know, you get a lot of stuff on the media, but I get to see like how she grew up, how her family life was. There was a lot more talk about her. And you know, when people are usually president, it talks about them and then like their wife. But no, this lady is a force to be reckoned with. Like, she broke all the glass ceilings. She was not going to let anything stop her. I was able to go to school. Like, her and her brother went to Ivy League schools. Their parents didn't have a lot of money, but their parents instilled in them that you guys work hard, you guys get good grades, and be intelligent, and you can do whatever you put your mind to. So that's something I really loved about this book, Becoming, Michelle Obama. I learned a lot about her and about her family, and a lot of stuff about the White House too, like things that you can and cannot do in the White House. It was really pretty interesting. So this was my March read. Definitely recommend. On to my April read, and see, this book is a lot smaller as well. Girl Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis, and she has a series of a lot of different books. Her New York Times bestseller was Girl Wash Your Face. I guess that was her first one. I don't even know how I came across this book, but I kept seeing it in the bookstores, and so I was like, oh, let me just Girl Stop Apologizing. Okay, well, all right, we about to stop apologizing for what? I had to look that up, and I was intrigued by this book, and it's a lot of things don't pertain to me because she talks a lot about, you know, being a mother and being unapologetic and like a working mother. Like, I have to do these things and I have help. And another one of my books kind of talks about that as well. So I like this book. This is a good book for like, it says a shame-free plan for embracing and achieving your goals. So like, you know, a guilt-free kind of book if you feel a little guilty about being a working mom and doing all these things for yourself and doing all these things for your kids or even other people. This is a great book to read to just give you a reminder. Girl, stop apologizing for what? So that was my April book. Now, anyone who knows me knows I love me some Bobby Brown. I love me some New Edition. Bobby Brown is my favorite member of New Edition. And his story is just so intriguing. Like, Bobby Brown has really had a really, really, really tough life. And still, to this day, continues to have a tough life. A matter of about 5 years, he lost his ex-wife, Whitney Houston. I mean, they were not together, but still, that's still a hard thing to do, a hard thing to lose. A few years, well, before he lost his ex-wife, within the matter of 2 years, both of his parents passed away. So he lost his mother, then he lost his father, then he lost Whitney Houston, and then a couple of years after that, then he lost Bobby Christina, his only daughter with Whitney Houston. So their whole family system is just gone now. And then sometime earlier this month or late last month, he lost another one of his sons, Bobby Jr. And I'm just like, wow, this man has gone through a lot. And as a child, I don't know if you guys have seen the Bobby Brown story, you know, on BET and stuff. As a child, he saw one of his best friends, like, literally be stabbed to death and killed. Like, as a young child, about this age right here. Something so very traumatic, and the first kind of introduction to death that he would see in his life. And he's seen so much. And not to even make excuses for him, because he definitely was a wild man. He definitely did a lot of things that he should not have been doing, and he was definitely a contributing factor in himself being removed from the group and taking a step away from the group. But a lot of those traumas, I think, still affected him, and he had not dealt with those yet. So that's why he lashed out and did a lot of crazy and wild things, and wanted to become this crazy and wild kind of rock star boy. The bad boy of R&B. I would definitely say Bobby Brown is the king of R&B, period. But yes, so this is called Every Little Step. You guys know his song, every little step I take, you will be there. Hey, we'll be together. So yes, so I guess he had help writing this with the child. So this is just like, I love autobiographies. I love self-help books like Girl Stop Apologizing, and I love autobiographies like Becoming, Every Little Step, some other books as well. So those are my two kind of favorite genres, like Christian inspirational self-help, as well as autobiographies of people who I really enjoy watching. So I really enjoy Bobby Brown, and I know his backstory, so this book is just an autobiography. Bobby Brown was my June read. My May read was I Forgive You But, which is by Karen Jensen Salisbury. I Forgive You But. And I came across this book from one of my old college roommates. She had posted it, and I was like, this is very interesting. Like, I could stand to forgive some people, you know, or I actually wanted to read the book as well to see, like, there are people in my life, like, have I truly forgiven like I said I've forgiven? I feel like I'm a pretty forgiving person. So, I kind of read the book as like a test to see, like, well, let's see what she has to say about it, and have I truly forgiven people? So I Forgive You But by Karen Jensen Salisbury is a really, really great book, especially if you're struggling with forgiving people or forgiving yourself or forgiving God. That was a great read too. And the book was kind of thin. It wasn't a thick book, so you could read that in less than a month if you chose to as well. So that was May. Bobby Brown was June. And then I read The Wait in July by Megan Good and Devon Franklin. They're married. Funny thing about this book is I've read this book in 2016. So I've read this book before, but something was pulling me to read this book again. And I enjoyed it thoroughly again, even the second time around. So this book is about a powerful practice for finding the love of your life and the life you love. It's not all, the whole book is not just about like, don't have sex before marriage. But they put a lot of key gems and tools in this book that I really, really appreciate. And some of them just kind of include spending that quality time with your significant other or with your fiance or soon-to-be spouse, whatever it is. And like not using sex as a weapon or something to kind of like mask or cover up conflict or different things. This was very helpful. It's like, if you can do all of that and, you know, build that genuine connection without sex, then you're going to be, you know, good and set to go when you're ready to partake in those festivities with your husband or wife. So I really love reading The Wait again. It was very inspirational, even a second time around. July. Everyone's favorite relationship goes by Pastor Michael Todd, How to Win at Dating, Marriage, and Sex. And this is him and his wife on the back cover. They're so cute together. And their kids, oh my gosh, so cute. So you guys all know relationship goals and kind of the how the world boomed with like online churches and things. And so I discovered Michael Todd during the pandemic when we couldn't go to church. Lead pastor, him and Pastor Natalie of Transformation Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Fun fact, I actually went to college in Oklahoma, and close around Tulsa, I had a lot of friends from Tulsa. I have never heard of this church until this year, which is really interesting to me because I've been to Tulsa, like I had friends from Tulsa, but never kind of came cross paths. I've been to church in Tulsa, never cross paths with Transformation Church, but now I'm glad I have. So yes, so this book, and there's actually a study guide that goes along with this book. And this book's not long at all. Ah! I was looking for my little bookmark, or one of them, and there it is. So yes, I really thoroughly enjoyed this. They have about 9 chapters, and I read this book with the book club. So I suggest reading it with the book club so you guys can discuss it, get the study guide. You guys can do the discussion questions together. It was great to read as a group with guys and girls, getting both perspectives on relationships and like how different people are at what stages. Like, it's good to read if you're a single person, if you're in a relationship, if you're in a situationship. It's good to read because to get you out of a situationship. Like, we gotta pick a side. And for married couples as well. It was really good. August. September, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And being honest, I didn't really get much out of it. I thought it was gonna help me like from like the business aspect. Like, I have 2 businesses outside of school counseling. I thought it was gonna help me with that, and it didn't really. It's good for someone who's like into, flipping houses, getting into investments and things like that. That's a good book for that, but it didn't help with what I thought it was gonna help with. But it was an interesting read, I will say that much. I just was kind of looking forward to do more for me and like kind of like starting the business aspect of it, but it was helpful for what it was worth. That's by Robert Kiyosaki. September. In October, I read The 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman, and I thoroughly enjoyed that book. Like, that was a great book. Like, from being, and it's helpful for even when you're single, but being in a relationship, it's helpful to know your partner's love language and your love language as you're reading through the book, because it gives really good examples of kind of how to show love to your partner in specific ways. And I will say, the only thing I really didn't like about, or that wasn't as helpful, was the acts of service. The acts of service is one that I was looking into, to hearing more about his perspective on that. And I feel like that was the one that was least helpful in identifying and demonstrating love in that specific love language. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed the book. I like the perspectives. I like that he gave examples of couples he knew from each of those different 5 love languages, which are words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, physical touch, receiving gifts. I was like, what's the 5th one? Yes, so all of those 5, he did a really good job to me explaining them, and then like, giving examples of how to show love in that way and what you kind of want in receiving love in that way as well. So that was my October read. That was a very thin book as well. Easy peasy. Now, this book I got for my birthday in May, The Hate You Give. If you've seen the movie, I highly recommend reading the book. It's literally word for word the same in some aspects. There are a few more. I like the book more than the movie because there are a few more details that they add in the book that I really like that could have been in the movie. But other than that, like literally when I tell you the exact same storyline, plot, it was good for me to have watch the movie first, so I kind of have a visual. I like to visualize characters in my head. I had a visual of where they lived and where they were moving to and all the different characters and what they looked like. The Hate You Give is an amazing, amazing book. And if you've seen the movie, it's the exact same. But if you haven't seen the book or seen the movie or read the book, it just talks about, police brutality, racism, a lot of different things of classism, you know, being in the hood but going to school, to private school just to get a better education for their kids, gang violence, a lot of things like that. Great read by Angie Thomas, and she was a New York Times bestseller. This was her first book, so I'm looking forward to reading more books by her. And I think she lives in, born, raised, and still resides in Jackson, Mississippi. Angie Thomas. I'm looking forward to reading some more of her books next year because she did amazing with this book. And this book is very thick. There are about 400 something pages in it, but it was well worth it. Like I said, watch the movie, then read the book will be my recommendation. That was November. And then December, I'm finishing up these 2 books. The Year of Yes. This is another book like Becoming, because in Becoming, I think I might have got this the same year I got Becoming. And I just kind of got back into it. Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. I'm not a Shonda land person. I don't watch any Grey's Anatomy, How to Get Away with Murder, Scandal, none of that stuff. But when I read this book about the Year of Yes, how to dance it out, stand in the sun, and be your own person, I was like, what can I be saying more yes to? And so I decided to come back to this book and finish this book out for the end of the year. I'm not finished yet, but this is very helpful. If you put your mind to something, she dedicated herself to say, this is my year, I'm going to say yes to stepping out of my comfort zone more. That's something I love about this book, and I'm excited to finish reading it. And then When Women Pray by T.D. Jakes. This is a powerful book. We're reading this book in our Bible study. My sister and I created a Bible study, Women with Worth. And we read 2 chapters out of this book every week for the month of December. And you have Hannah, Mary, Sarah, the woman with the issue of blood, Naomi, the Samaritan woman, Esther, Rhoda, the Shunammite woman, and Anna. So 10 women in the Bible who changed the world through prayer. Amazing read so far. We've read about Hannah, Mary, Sarah, and the woman with the issue of blood. And you think you know something so much about a character. Like, you're like, oh, I know Mary. Oh, I know Sarah. Oh, I know the woman with the issue of blood. And you're just like, when you read about it and you get more in depth about their prayers and like what they actually did, how they changed the world through prayer, you get to see like, wow, I learned a lot more about these people than what I was taught as a kid or just what I initially read in the Bible. You have to read more into it, which is very interesting information. So like, this is not a large book either at all. T.D. Jakes, and even though he's a man and writing about when women pray, this is a book for everyone. This is not just a book for women. This is a book for men, for anyone who feel like they can get something out of this. And T.D. Jakes did a great job with the perspective of all of these women. I wouldn't count him out just because he's a man writing a book about when women pray, because women are super powerful, as he clearly sees himself enough to write this book. And he wrote this book during the pandemic, like during quarantine, so it's very real time, very up to date. That's part of the reason why I like it as well. So yeah, so those are all the books I've read this year. I'm excited for next year to start fresh from January. I started in March this year, but to start fresh from January and read a book a month. And right now in December, I'm reading 2 books. So maybe some months I'll challenge myself to read 2 books a month. But I'm just excited. I'm glad that I've grown my love and my passion for reading. I got it back because I didn't like to read for a long time. But I'm glad that now I enjoy reading. I wake up in the morning. Part of my morning routine is to read before I get out of the bed. I enjoy that part so much of my morning routine. So I'm glad that God placed that back on my heart to be excited about reading again, because you truly do learn a lot about people and a lot about yourself, and it just helps you grow your mind and expand your mind and your intelligence through reading books. So I'm excited to see what 2021 has in store. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's right next to the subscribe button, so you're notified every single time I post a video. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in my next one.